I wish people understood that the only thing you need to succeed is to create something every day. Create content, create art, create a product. 99% of people are not building anything. They are the consumer class. And as the consumer class, they'll never have money, they'll never have power, they'll never have impact. You don't want to be on that team. And until you switch your mindset from consumer to producer, will you create the life that you desire?
I'm about to clock some tea real quick, so brace yourself. You have to create more than you consume. Especially if you are overly ambitious, you need to be creating more than you are consuming. My mom actually taught me this concept years ago, and it has totally shaped my mindset. So here comes the tea clocking part. You are not actively changing your life by sitting on social media and spending so much time watching other people live these lavish lives that you think that you want. My life changed tremendously when I started spending less time watching the vlogs, watching all the it girls on TikTok, doing this, that, and the third, and actually getting into the field, rolling up my sleeves. You can spend a little bit of time at first for inspiration to see what life could look like, looking at other people's stuff. I love it. I love some aspiration, but you really just spending all of your time doing that is going against the goal. Start doing shit, start trying shit, start creating stuff. Even if it doesn't work, like throw things at the wall until something sticks, but start creating. You can't be overly ambitious and just be a consumer. And as I said before, this doesn't mean that you have to stop, just watching, consuming. But let's go back to my mom's main point. Create more than you consume. So as long as that ratio is I'm doing more creating, I'm trying things, I'm actually in the world living, putting myself out there, trying to start that business, starting to create content, applying for jobs, whatever, more than I'm sitting up watching other people live their damn lives, that's when you have a better ratio.
The main difference between rich and poor people is that rich people produce, while poor people only consume. This is very important for you to understand. And if you are a consumer, you should start to think about producing something. Producers are the ones who control capital and actually run the world. Even something like Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, the people who actually have most of it are the ones who used to mine it in the early days, or the ones who started exchanges to allow other people to trade it. You don't need to create the next iPhone or Bitcoin, but you can start small with something that you can do. You might have an idea for a product, or you can start writing and sharing your content online. Once you made the mental switch from customer to producer, your life will slowly turn around, and you will start noticing opportunities everywhere.
3 things I tell myself every day in order to create more than I consume. Progress over perfection. Perfectionism leads to procrastination, and at its worst, leads to paralysis. Take the first step. Even if it's messy, build momentum. Done is better than perfect, and consistent, messy action is always better than perfect action. Ugly first drafts are part of the process. Every masterpiece started out as a rough sketch. The more you create, the better you get. Imperfections and self-doubt aren't roadblocks. They're stepping stones to the life you're building for yourself. Ideas are worthless without execution. One of my favorite things I've heard on this app is make it exist first, you can make it look pretty later. You'll never know how good something can be until you create it. Let it live outside of you so you can create space for more. You're doing awesome.
Create more than you consume! When you start to feel those niggling bad vibes in your tummy, or call it anxiety, whatever it is, and you reach for your phone to scroll, to escape, stop! Stop, please. You're perpetuating your own suffering, but it's familiar. It's your familiar neural pathways to escape, run away from the bad vibes, run away from the bad internal things that you should be confronting. Oh, you think your life is not amounting to anything. Oh, you've reached a roadblock in one of your projects and you think, maybe I can't do this. Oh, you're worried that you're never going to find love and you're unlovable. Okay, let me pick up my phone and scroll. Stop. This is where you need to be creating. Whether it's writing a poem, journaling, drawing, dancing, humming, whatever it is, express, confront, feel. That's what art is really for, right? And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for consumption of art. There's a time and a place for distraction. But when you are consuming more than you are creating, you are negating that essential part of being a human, which is to express, to feel, to make, to move. When you consume more than you create, you are no longer an active participant of your own life. You're leaving the fundamental quality of being a human out to dry, to rot. Let me tell you, that does something to the human soul. Take a broad approach when it comes to thinking about creating. It doesn't have to be the traditional or stereotypical artistic things like painting and drawing. If that's not for you, it can be woodworking, talking to a friend, styling a new outfit, going for a walk. Anything that brings you into an active modality, that's creating. You're creating, baby. You're creating magic. And that, my friend, is what makes us human. So, flogging for the day, create more than you consume. I've been T, your creative mentor. Goodbye.
I used to always wait for like the perfect moment to create something, to express my creativity. I always felt like I needed to be in a certain kind of mood, like feeling good and inspired and creative before I created something, anything. And I'm realizing how untrue that is, and how our emotions really are such a portal to creativity, and that you can create from literally any state of being. Feeling the feelings is one thing, but then also using the energy of the emotions to create something, like as a form of expression. This is so new to me because I'm someone who also, I feel like I am, okay, here's the thing. I think we're all creative. I think every single human on the planet is creative. We just have blocks and we cut ourselves off and don't allow ourselves to create because of so many reasons, right? Preconceived notions and beliefs and chains that we put on ourselves. And so for so long, I didn't consider myself a creative person because it's not something that like came easily to me. But I'm realizing now that it's because I like hid behind this mask of like perfectionism, and just the whole concept of like creativity is so vast and there's no rules and it's just so open and you can literally do absolutely anything the fuck you want. And that would be so overwhelming to me because I was like, where are the guidelines, where are the rules, the structure, but where do I start? Like I need to draw from something. And so it would be overwhelming, and then like throw in that perfectionism that I just wouldn't even attempt to do it. But lately I've been really being guided and asked to like channel my emotions into creating something. And so the other day I was feeling all kinds of just yucky bad emotions. I was feeling like just some shame, guilt, grief, sadness, confusion, doubt, all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't know, like this just feels so bad. And I caught myself in that moment before I went to go grab my phone because I was like, oh, I just want to like escape this feeling because it's so intense. And instead I was like, no, wait, like, let me try to channel this. Just was like, what do I want to do with this? Like, what can I do with this? And I was sitting on the beach and I didn't have much with me other than my journal and a pen. So I started to draw. And like, I don't draw. Like, I'm a very poor drawer. It's something that I've never been good at. But I started to just like doodle and express all those feelings into like random ugly doodles, and really trying to consciously like get out of my head and not be fixated on this like, oh, is this good? What is this? It doesn't matter. It's like, this is simply just for me as an outlet to express all the fucking goop that's inside of me. And it felt really good. I did it for like 10 minutes, and honestly, afterwards, my entire day turned around and I started getting creative ideas and inspiration for other things that I've been kind of stalling on because I was just like, oh, but like I was getting so in my head trying to figure things out, which was causing and perpetuating that feeling of like just confusion and doubt and all these things. But then when I allowed myself to actually express that emotion and create with it, like use the energy of that emotion to create something, to alchemize it, transmute it, to release it from my body in like a very tangible, physical way, it was so, I was like, whoa, this is something. People are onto something here where they use their emotions to channel shit. Which I've obviously heard of the concept, but I've never like fully practiced it in this way. A lot of the times when I release my emotions and things, it's through some kind of like movement or sound or something. Like I like to use my body as a tool, but to like tangibly create something too, I guess that's what I'm really being initiated into now, is like that's also an option, especially with things that are like, I don't know, emotions that I struggle with expressing, like guilt and shame and doubt and things like that. If it's like sadness and anger, like my main methods of releasing that are like through some kind of movement or sound or something, and that I have a much easier time with. But it's like the ones that kind of, I feel like it's attacking my identity or who I am, which it's not, but that's what my mind gets stuck looping in, and that's where I get so uncomfortable and I tend to run away. So anyways, it's just so crazy to use your emotions. It's like there's so many ways that it's really just an energy that needs to be moved through us, and we are the vessel of creation. So it's like, how does that energy want to be created? Like what can be created with it, whether it is a movement or a sound or a painting, a drawing, a poem, whatever it may be. It's like, give yourself that opportunity to release all expectation of what it is you're creating, because it doesn't need to serve any purpose other than it's being released from your body, you know.
Create more than you consume. That means if you're posting 3 times a week but you're scrolling all day, that is the reason you're not growing. Instead of scrolling all day and wasting your time on social media, be productive, create more content, batch create content. You could be growing at such a faster rate if you actually were intentional with how you spent your time on social media. Take notes, see what other people are doing, and switch it up and try it for yourself. Be intentional with everything that you do on social media. Try this out and let me know how it goes.